To launch our brand new series called Muscle Car of the Week, we decided to start with a muscle car that's a first of its own. This is the very first 1969 ZL-1 Camaro, and it's part of a collection called the Brothers Collection, and this ZL-1 is a fairly recent addition, and our friend Charlie Lillard took the time to show us the car.
Kind of the ZL-1 that started them all. It's the first one built. Fred Gibb talked Chevrolet into building them, and that's the first one ever done.
So give us the context. What is the ZL-1 package all about?
Oh, it's a Copo package, heavy duty rear end, special aluminum 427 solid lifter, a drag race car basically. They built 69 of them, very coveted, kind of the king of the hill for Chevrolet cars, and this is the first one ever built. Pretty famous, neat car.
Absolutely. And were these sold everywhere or only at certain dealers, or what was the story?
Oh, certain dealers. I think there was, what, 17 dealers or something that ended up selling them, 17 or 19 different dealers. Most of them are from Fred Gibb. I think he sold. I can't remember how many.
Well, his name's on the door, and then this says Dick Harrell on the quarter panel. What's the connection there?
Dick Harrell got involved with Fred and helped him do a bunch of stuff, and Dick was really good at dialing in cars for drag racing, and he was heavily involved with this car. Pretty neat setup.
So they only made 69, and I imagine a bunch of them were raced if it was supposed to be a race car. Any idea on how many are left?
I think there's 40 something left.
That's a pretty high number.
Yeah, various states of disrepair or repair or rebuild, or you know, and it's funny, for years there was talk of, well, there was only 3 with the original engines or 4 with the original engines, and I think I've owned 3 with the original engines over the years, because if you think about it, it's an aluminum big block. If somebody damages one, they're not going to scrap it. It'll sit in a corner somewhere, and you can weld aluminum up forever. So they're slowly getting reunited with the cars as they get figured out who's got what car and who's got what block, and they find the VIN number on the side.
I imagine that this is something that probably could only happen now that the internet exists. You know, just
that's got a huge part of what it's all about. I mean, the world got a lot smaller this way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not placing an ad in a little paper in a town that you hope somebody sees. It's somebody can post pictures or post a VIN on the internet and do a search, and it shows up, and everything gets reunited.
Now this one, being the first one, it also is a full-on race car. Did this start off as a regular street car that was converted? How did that go?
All the ZL-1s were built as street cars, but this one and another car were delivered to Fred Gibb in the winter in the snow, and it was a dusk blue column shift automatic car that they proceeded to drag race and convert and convert and convert, and made it into a really neat car.
So it's obvious up front they did everything they could to make this car light. The Swiss cheese core support, fiberglass front end, it's all one piece. But I see things like there's no front brakes and that little single pot master cylinder.
Anything to save a pound.
And this being the aluminum 427, do we know if this is right for the car?
Actually, this one is the original engine for the car. The block got reunited with it a few years ago. It got found. You know, nobody throws away aluminum blocks, and they had VIN numbers on them. So consequently, over the years, they keep showing up and getting reunited with ZL-1s. But this one has the original block back in it.
Can you tell me the story about the snowflake on the block?
That's just the Winter's Casting foundry mark that's in the GM aluminum blocks that they did. You'd see them on the aluminum intakes too.
And this one's wearing a Wyand dual quad intake, a couple of looks like almost Dominators on it. How did this car run? Was he competitive? Or was it more of an exhibition car, or they just took it out and had fun with it? Any idea?
No, they set records with it. It was a good car, fast car.
One of the first things you notice about this car is that it's kind of a candy apple red, but it's got the intricate lace paint job all over it. That can't be the original stuff. I just wouldn't think it would last.
It's not the original stuff. Porterfield restored the whole car, but as I recall, he traveled across like 3 different states to duplicate the exact lace pattern to find a sample of it so he could reproduce the paint. Pretty neat.
So I imagine it was kind of faded and beat up, so he knew what he was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way that's done is you physically lay lace and spray over it. I mean, that's why they call it a lace job.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of it, pretty much true to the first go-around?
There's some little differences, but I think most race cars change over time. But
I mean, we got
and like
lettering on the back.
the lettering on the back, if you want to know the facts on a car and remember them, what better way than to paint them on the back of a car? ZL-1 number 1 delivered to Fred Gibbs Chevrolet December 31st, so New Year's Eve 1968. And it tells all the records it had. It was a pretty neat way to display it. The guy that put the ZL-1s back on the map was Bill Porterfield. And he found this car, bought it, restored it.
Wow.
If it wasn't for Bill's tenaciousness, we probably wouldn't know what we do about the ZL-1s. He prompted Vince Piggins, who found his files, which subsequently got published, I think, to Super Chevy. So the VIN list on all the ZL-1s was there. Otherwise, nobody knew how many they made, or people didn't even think they made aluminum 427 Camaros.
Sure, right. Yeah, it was always kind of a unicorn car, and I guess it still is. I mean, how does it end up that we're standing in front of the first one today?
This belonged to some friends of mine. They've got a pretty good collection of muscle cars. They're kind of low-key about what they have. It's not about them or value. It's more about cool cars, and I kind of helped them get this car, and it's just a neat thing to be caretaker of for a while. It's a pretty slick car.
Well, it sure is, and if I'm not mistaken, this was part of the ZL-1 Camaro display at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals last year. 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
we had a ZL-1 collection that I think we had 19 of the original ZL-1s there. I think that's the largest gathering ever in one spot, and this was at the head of the row. This was number 1 for the first ones. Their collection isn't open to the public, but they do make an effort to get stuff. Like, they'll usually loan me 1 or 2 cars for our Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals. Oh, I've had Hemi Cuda convertibles there. I've had Trans Am convertibles there.
Hurst
The 69 Hurst Olds convertible there.
Well, that's my favorite show, so of course I remember a lot of the things from it.
Yeah, if you want to see more of the collections cars, there'll be some there at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals every year.
Well, and hopefully we can get the opportunity to feature some more of these on Muscle Car of the Week.
I hope so,
Right on.
if you behave.
Well, I'll try. There's no guarantees. So let's do this. If there are any more things you want to learn about this car, you can check out our website at MuscleCarOfTheWeek.com and like the Facebook page. We've got a Facebook page, Muscle Car of the Week, and you'll find some more photos of the car. Plus, we'll do a teaser on what next week's car is going to be. And if you're lucky, you might guess what that is. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and you'll never miss a car, because we've got a bunch lined up. Hopefully, if Charlie lets us in.
There's a few cars that should catch your interest. There's
I
some
know there are. All right,
fun
thanks.
stuff.
Thanks for showing us.
You bet.